Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of a favorite program, Let's Discuss, on OSPC TV. Today, we shall be looking at the general state of the nation. Welcome once again. My name is Oluchi, and I am not alone on the program this morning. I have someone who will be co-presenting the program with me for the first time today. I'm Jalila Adebisi.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, we will be talking generally about the state of the nation, the state of Nigeria, and Osun State too. We have a guest in the house. Well, if we describe him as a friend of the house, might not really be wrong. Although it's been a while, but he's here. He is a stakeholder, a major stakeholder in the Osun project. He's also a journalist, and he is here to discuss Nigerian situation with us and Osun State. President Odeyemi, welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be with you.
Yes, when we talk about the state of the nation, let's take Nigeria's democracy.
Okay.
How has it been? Because you find out that, yes, everybody says democracy is the best form of government and it's all about good governance, but have we really been witnessing that in Nigeria?
Well, we can say yes and no, but that is not to say that democracy is still not the best. Democracy is the best form of government anywhere because it allows everybody to participate, to talk, and there's level of freedom, unlike the military that practices autocracy. Democracy, that is why you have citizens querying their leadership, querying people who are in government. And on many instances, we have seen citizens calling presidents, governors names. You know, when Jonathan was there, we had different names that, people call him. So that's the beauty of democracy. And in democracy, we agree to disagree, and we disagree to agree. It allows everybody to participate. When you are talking of dividends of democracy, yes, to a certain extent and to some level, Nigerians have benefited. That is not to say that it has been to the fullest size. Let me put it that way. We are still struggling to some extent, and we only hope that the leadership, I'm not talking of any political party now, I'm talking of people, the politicians, that they have the interests of the people at heart. It's only when you have that fear of God and you respect humanity that you can think of other people without being selfish. Part of being selfish is, thinking of using your position to enrich yourself in a corrupt manner, using your office in a manner that is not beneficial to the people. So, by and large, yes, Nigerians are enjoy democracy.
Thank you, sir. Honorable, when we look at, you have described that is, you subscribe to the fact that democracy is the best government throughout the world. I think you say that. And when we say that it is the best form of government, then look at Nigeria, we have, the president has appointed about 48 ministers. Then we have done some other posts that are not as prominent as that. Now, when you come to the state, you see numbers of commissioners, the essays, the coming to the government, if at all the government of Osun is a little bit managing the economy. We have about 10 officers in each local government, and all this one are going to be copying a larger number of national income or the revenue. Then, do you also agree that democracy is too expensive too?
Yes, I will say that democracy is very, very expensive, especially in this part of the world. It's expensive right from the time you aspire to an office. It becomes expensive right from the very moment you obtain a form to contest an election. We all know that to become a governor, you have to obtain a form at the price of almost 50 million. That means, even though there is this belief that, nobody is too young to run. But where will you see a young man that will now have
50 million
to say now he
and
wants to
100 million
deposit
for presidency?
for presidency and something like that? So when you are talking of democracy being expensive, you start from there. And during the campaign is not something that you run with your mouth. Campaign involves a lot of things. You have to think of the media, you have to think of the security, you have to think of publicity, you have to think of even the masses. We are now in an era in democracy whereby it is very difficult to say, yes, I want to contest as a governor without spending more than...
With good name.
With good names. Good name doesn't work in Nigeria. Even when you tell them this is what I want to do, you go to the best printer in the world, print your manifesto in a very simple language that they will read and understand. By the time you start giving it to them, they will still ask you what is behind it. Is it poster that we are going to eat? So when you are talking of democracy being expensive, let's look at it from there. Then, coming to governance, it is not easy for few people to govern. That's what I've just realized. I used to believe that, if you don't have a larger number of people, that surrounds you or that you have as commissioners or as SA, it will be very difficult to take certain decisions that will be of help to the generality of the people you govern. Now, look at it this way. Whatever is the number of commissioners or the number of SAs, if they are on salary, of course, these people will still have to spend money. They will have special advice, they will have PA, they will have SA, they have this, they have that. So I think it's the easiest way of distributing wealth.
Okay.
Rather than backing on this money for the market women, 5,000 naira each or whatever. If you have the number of commissioners, like, if you're a commissioner in your environment, if you at least 10, 20 people will come to you for their needs. But if you don't have a commissioner in your environment or in your community, and is lopsided, then it becomes an issue. And in politics, it is the numbers that counts. If you have somebody from here, you have another people from there, and you can't just leave anywhere out of it. So if people are to be represented in a government, then you don't have to complain about the number.
Okay,
that's just it.
That brings me to my next question.
Yes.
Yes, you said when you have a lot of people working in government, it's a way of wealth distribution.
Yes.
Now, it is not every citizen that has access to this government. And if you are, paying salaries and emoluments of public office holders with the largest chunk of the country's resources, how then would there be enough money for infrastructure and things, dividends of democracy that would cut across every member of the party?
Okay, now let me explain that. When I was the special advisor to late Governor Akala in Oyo State, we tried to manage the number of special advisors that we have. We had just 10 of us as special advisors. In Osun State, it was when Governor Ilola was there, it was a different ball game. He had almost 40 or more than that. In Osun State, we had a lot of allowances that we are entitled to, such as wardrobe allowance, car allowance, fuel allowance, even impress. And by the time you put all this money together, they become, very chunky. And by that time, I was okay, living fine. But my colleagues were not getting what I was getting in Oyo State. And it got to a state that I thought I could speak on their behalf. So now, there was a time Governor Ilola came to Oyo State. And I said, Excellency, I'm an SA in Oyo State and I'm getting so salary, I'm getting this, I'm getting that. But my colleagues in Osun State, they are not getting it. And the wise man said, how many of you are in Oyo State as special advisor? I said, we are just 10. He said, in Osun State, I have 40. And what I did was a kind of a calculation. Put up salary of 10 people, the allowance of 10 people, the wardrobe allowance of 10 people, and distribute it among 40. You understand what I'm trying to say? And whatever a government appointee is being paid is gazetted. You cannot say because you are my SA now, you are entitled to 100,000 naira when the government say your salary should not be more than 30,000. And if you look at these commissioners, I can tell you that commissioner does not earn more than 320,000 naira. I can tell you that special advisor does not earn more than, I think, 280. So what are we talking about? So if you are talking of a large number, yeah, I still believe and I still hold on to what I said earlier. There is an even way of distributing wealth. Because whoever is a special advisor, we have a PA, we have, somebody attached to him. And by the time that one gets another salary, it moves on. They go to the market.
So how then would you advise government to cut down government? Because you also find that most of the time when government wants to bring out a policy that affect the people, they tell the people, yes, please cut down. We're trying to, cut down your expenses and all that. And government keeps spending. When the first subsidy was about to be removed, government pleaded with the people, keep there with us. We're going to bring palliatives and all that. Government keeps spending. Government is not cutting down on cost of governance, and government expects the people, the masses, to actually cut down on expenses.
You see, the way you are looking at it, you are looking at it as an outsider from government. Government knows what is right and what it can do. One, to generate fund, and not to spend above the fund generated. If a government knows that it cannot afford to pay all these salaries or whatever, they will not embark on them. So you don't have headache for somebody who is not sick. The government is there. They know their income. They know the money they are able to generate. And they know the expenditure. A person in government should be a good manager of men and resources. So if you have 20,000 naira, and you have 10 people, and you still have to cater for other things, then you have to reduce the cost you spend on your aids and supporters and use the rest on capital project. As we are saying now, forget about the number of people that serves the government. The question should now be, is the government performing other things apart from paying salary? Are they tarring roads? Do they care about education? What about the health sector? In as much as they are able to fulfill those obligations, the issue of the number of aides, the number of commissioners should not be an issue, except if you are now a politician and looking at it from another angle that, these numbers are too large. You don't cry for somebody's headache.
Okay. When I call you Mr. Diran Odeyemi, I refer to you as a journalist.
Yes.
Because you are now a honorable representing, and at the same time you are the chairman of governing board for Esa-Oke. That means that there is something very good in that aspect. Yes, when you were a journalist, you are still a journalist. When you are practicing, then we know that you were comfortable. But now you are more comfortable because of all these rosy office that you are. Sir, I want to compare your status when you were practicing and now that you are now a politician.
Can I tell you something that as a journalist, I relocated abroad at a point in time. I spent more than 20 years in London. While in London, as a journalist, I did odd jobs. I worked as a cleaner in an office. There was a time I worked as a kitchen porter, washing plates, present it to the chefs who will now use it to give food to the whites. And at the point in time I worked as a postman, distributing letters around the streets before I, went to school. So I now read information technology and nursing management. And it was after that I was able to get a good job. When I got this good job, I worked for almost 18 years in London. If at the end of the day I now come to Nigeria as a politician, do I make my money from politics? I was only lucky to be invited by Governor Akala to come and serve him as a special advisor. So when you are talking of being comfortable, I really worked for whatever I had. And as a journalist that has criticized government, because I wrote a column in England Confidential when I was in UK, I condemn a lot of things about government and about governance in Nigeria. So when I came, I saw it as an opportunity to practice what I've preached in the past. So I'm not living beyond my income, and I'm not doing things beyond whatever that comes to me. I know the implication of being corrupt in the last time I had an office was almost 12, 13 years ago, and that was when I was special advisor. When I served the party as the Deputy National Public Secretary, I was not on salary. It was more or less a voluntary job, whereby whatever you see as a dash from the governors or from everybody, you just take it. So it wasn't something that was static. So when you are now saying, as a journalist, and now change your status, I'm living somehow, I work for my money and I'm enjoying it the way I should. I'm not living beyond my means.
You prefer to be called, you prefer to be called a politician or a journalist?
I'm both. A journalist doesn't retire.
No.
Give me the pen, I will write.
Once a journalist, always a journalist.
Always a journalist. And as a matter of fact, when I was working for Governor Akala, it was on my line. I was special advisor of communication. So, I deal with the press. I write his speech, and I maintain his image, public relations. So it's still on my line. I'm still practicing.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, before we move into the education sector,
Yes.
now the president announced palliative, 5 billion naira palliative to be given to state, and he said part of it will be loan, and some others will just be, and truck of fruits to grains being transported to states. Nigerians have continued to, have been expressing fears that some state governors will not allow that to actually get to those that will need it. Now, how would you advise state governors to go about ensuring that these things really get to the needy in the society?
This will bring me back to the assertion that I made at the beginning of this interview about democracy. Whoever gets that kind of a money or palliative measures and refuse to distribute it equally or refuse to give it to the people, there are 2 consequences.
Okay.
The first is God is watching. And that is why we have seen former governors who are wretched now. It's not a cause. It's because of, the people they have cheated. You never can know which of the destiny is causing you as a governor. So whoever gets that, I believe that it should be privately used or be diverted. God sees him. The other thing is, we are all in democracy. Whatever mandate is given to everybody is for 4 years. After 4 years, you still come back to the people and you have to account for what you have done. That is when people will now say, yes, there was a time the president gave you 5 billion. What did you do with it? There was a time you were given lorry loads of rice. Where did you take them to? But we are lucky in Oyo State, and I can assure you of that. We have in Osun State, we have a governor who is well made before he became the governor. He has been given rice before rice came from the federal government. You see, there was a time, the governor even said, there is nowhere in this world that he doesn't have a building, he doesn't have a home. In London, in America, and there is no jeep or no car he has not used or is not capable of using. So what's the essence of not taking from the state for that? And that is why whatever you use, even some things that he should benefit as a governor, like the security vote and everything, he threw everything back to the states. When other states are enjoying it, when other states are using it as their private income, he released everything to them. And that is why today we are not owing salary, we are going smoothly, everything is going on well. So you don't expect such a government to come from Abuja with 5 billion and say yes, he wants to divert it. What for? He has been, we thank God for the dynasty, for the name the Adeleke has made for themselves. So we don't expect that in Osun State. We even expect them to add more to it. And that is why we are anticipating that. Let the federal government bring their own. There will be surplus for us in Osun State. Or the governor or the government will manage it in such a way that everybody that is entitled to it will get it.
I want to follow Oluchi on that one because the governor has promised that he is going to prioritize agriculture as one of the 5-point agenda he has. Then the rainy season, we're in the mainstream, even we are going to the tail end of the rainy season by the best time. Then what are the plans that the government has put in place, possibly those ones that have been in effect or those ones that are still in the pipeline?
Luckily, we have a cabinet in place now, and we have a commissioner for agriculture. I will advise that at a point in time you bring him here to come and explain that. But having said that, when we were planning this administration, we knew the importance of agriculture and the income that could come to the state through that. We knew that in Lagos State alone, which is about how many kilometers to this place? I think 200 or 250 kilometers. We know that people brought ordinary pepper and tomato from the north to come and sell in Lagos. And averagely in a day, the pepper and tomato they consume in Lagos is an average of almost 700 million. Can you believe that? That is what we have discovered. Then we now challenge ourselves, during that time. If the distance is 250 kilometers, and our brother from the north could endeavor to come down and we have profit from that market in Lagos, why can't we do something and take it even before we get to Lagos? We first of all get to Ibadan, take money from Ibadan, take money from Lagos, and make sure that we are comfortable. That is part of the plan, and I can assure you that we are less than a year in office, or almost a year. When you have a very good foundation and you know what you want to do, by the time you start actualizing this, people will clap for you. So give it to us. As a government, we know what we are doing. We are planning. It may not have yielded anything for now, but it will yield something.
Thank you very much. Now, apart from the agri sector, what are the other areas too that government, actually has to take advantage of in Osun State to generate revenue, apart from besides going to the federal government?
As it is now, what the government has done is, first of all, to block all leakages. There has been instances whereby our money fly to Lagos without any tangible reason for them. It's not that the state does not have money. We have money. But the way and manner it goes elsewhere is what the governor has done, creditably well. Let me block all these loopholes. So we now have certain amount that, we don't need to run after what they have taken. Let them take it, but we just have to stop it from going further. The next stage is, if we are paying 1,000 workers, just for an instance, are we really sure that this is the amount we are paying? There are instances of, people who have japa, who are no longer in the country, but still receiving salary. There are instances of people who stay and live in Lagos and does not have any business in Osun, but they are placed on salary in Osun. There are instances of people who got money with their maiden name and after getting married, change their name, but the two names are still collecting money separately. So there are too many instances through which money are flying out, and there is no way you can keep increasing taxes or telling people to pay more when money are going elsewhere. So the second stage, which the government is doing now, is to verify the number of staffs that are being paid. When this is done, I can tell you that the governor, Ademola Jackson Nuruddin Adeleke, is an international person. He knows the importance of bringing in industries into the state, because without all these industries, you cannot create or generate employment, and there is no way you can get income. Is it these market people or road transport workers that you will now say you want to tax? No, we want big money in Osun. So it's wooing investors, and very soon that will materialize, and people will know that we have somebody who knows what he's doing in government. Apart from this, there are too many intervention funds from the federal government, which you have to explore as a state that should come to you. We are talking to the federal government in getting what we call the national cake. If Abuja is the national cake, how much are you able to cut for yourself from this? And we have lots of intervention funds that are stocked without being exploited, without people assessing them. So the governor, who knows what he is doing, is trying his best to make sure that we have enough, without necessarily belaboring or keeping the burden of tax on the citizens of the state. Not that people will not pay tax, but it will not be as if, yes, we are belaboring them for nothing, or we are giving them from our right hand and we are taking it back with the left hand. So the government is trying its best,
Okay.
and its best we materialize.
Thank you. What about the solid mineral area?
It's part of it.
Okay.
You see, before we came into government, solid minerals are just being exploited by people, individuals, without any control. And we have stories about people using their influence to evade tax, where, or the little places where it was even normalized. That the state government at a point in time even said, yes, they are giving them tax relief. We don't understand that. Tax relief for taking our resources and using it to get money elsewhere. What kind of a tax relief is that? So there are many policies that are wrong. There are many issues that are wrong. There are many, corruption that took place. But we don't want to look back. We want to move on. This has been stabilized, and it's part of what is generating fund for the states. And that is why, we are moving on gradually.
So before we go to security, because I always believe that the journalists, we are the learned, because you call a particular profession and learned, that is what you have practicalized. Yes. You have talked about federal government, you have talked about every sphere of life. That means that you are the embodiment of knowledge. I want to go to your own area now, which is education. That is the office you are holding now. That is polytechnic or education in general. The sudden rise that is hike in school fees announced by the federal government, not PDP, but the other party. How do you see to it?
Yes, you see, we should be realistic with ourselves, when we are talking of life generally. I remember when I was in the university between 1983 and 1986, what I earn as a student, what I take from my parents is just 45,000 naira. Because meal ticket in UI is 50 kobo. So I will only tear the meal ticket for the morning, go to the cafeteria, take tea, take orange, take whatever, eat egg, bread or yam, whatever. And in the afternoon, you can decide to eat pounded yam, whatever, you are filled up. And in the night, so there are instances that I don't even take 3 square meal. That was less than 50 naira. Can we give 50 naira to somebody now and you expect him to appreciate it? Things have really changed, and we just must change with it. Even when I was in London, there was a time I used to buy fuel, for 30p, 40p. Now it's almost £1. It's global, it's general. Like in Esa-Oke, Osun State College of Technology, Esa-Oke. The highest fee paid there is 75,000 naira for a year. Let me say it publicly because I still have to declare my asset anyway. I sent my children to Osun International School in Iloko. I pay 1 million naira per term. Yeah, we cannot compare private institution to government. Good, but look at the ratio: 75,000 naira in a year to obtain MD in 2 years. Are we being realistic? Definitely no. Definitely no. And an institution is not a place where you do business. It's not a business or commercial avenue or commercial center. It's purely education center. You have the government assisting you with the payment of lecturer's salary, and they ask you to use the student fee and other things to maintain yourself. Who does that? How do you want to maintain whatever it is, the buildings, the equipments, even all other things on the campus? So we just have to agree among ourselves that there is that global increment in our ways of living. So when you are talking of increasing school fee, it is a total blackmail on the government if we are not realistic with it that things have changed generally. There should be a gradual increment in whatever we pay as school fee.
Thank you very much, sir. Now let's look at the general state of education in the country. A lot of employers have always complained that Nigerian graduates are not employable. How did we get to the stage?
You see, personally, I believe in technical education. Maybe because of, I will always use London as an example. if you are a technician and you have a technical knowledge, you are well paid than going to office and just sit there between morning 8 or 9 to 5. Some of us who did that, we don't make much money. But look at people who repair roof, people who repair ordinary washing machine. They pay more. There's what we call out fee. Before you even call them, you have to pay them. Call out fee. That is how expensive they are. So they believe in experience, they believe in technical work done, all this administrative job. And what I want to advocate in that sense is that Nigerians tend towards some causes that are not beneficial to the society. Now, we are saying that we don't have much industries. Many of these industrial areas have now become churches. So rather than go to work and do something that will be productive for sale, they believe in going there to go and ask God to give them money. They believe in, courses that, there are instances that people study English in the university, but they still come back to learn fashion design. They still come back to learn how to make hair. And they make more money from that than the course they study in the university. So we just have to tend to what the needs of the society. It is when you know what the society needs and you can make your money from it, then you work towards that.
Okay, so would you now advocate for a change in curriculum?
Of course, yes. That's exactly what I'm saying. I said technical education is the only area through which we can industrialize our environment. Because technical knowledge is necessary everywhere. We are sitting on a chair, it's a technical knowledge. The camera you are using is technical. So there are a lot of instances where we are talking that is administrative. So if you we all need ourselves. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong. We all need ourselves. But for people to get job, for people to get employed, for people to make money, you just have to embark on, other avenues to make money. And this is go technical. And that's why I love what I'm doing in Esa-Oke. I'm putting my heads down to know the importance of technology. There are people who are so much talented in this country. Look at it. Fuel is expensive. People have now devised a means of using gas, which is less expensive. If fuel is not expensive, perhaps nobody will think of using gas. So if we are now, going back to the use of gas in cars, in generators and everything, the people who are producing this will make money during this time, whether anybody likes it or not. So we should be fast in thinking, and this is technology.
Thank you very much. Abdul, before you come in, now so you said there are a lot of students who are very, very intelligent and creative.
Yes.
Now you discover that yes, once these people are able to make one or two things, they will run out of the country. So the issue of brain drain continues. What do you think government can do to actually encourage these young ones to stay put and develop the country with their creativity and intelligence?
I believe in staying put in this country. Some of us who went abroad at that time found it difficult to live. As a journalist, I was a freelancer at a point in time. It is what you write that they count for you, that they give you money. Even when I got fully employed, my salary was not enough to even do anything in life. That was when I relocated. You see, by the time if the government develops the aspect of engaging the youth industrially, if government, not even government, if there are creation of industries, there are people who even enjoy Nigeria more than going abroad. Some of us who have been there have seen it all. There's nothing anybody's going to do abroad that cannot enjoy. You even enjoy in Nigeria more than going abroad. Going to abroad is like, self-slavery. Yes, self-enslavement. Just to get financial independence. Not that you are... What you see through photographs and all these things are just photoshops. Yeah, you enjoy life to a reasonable extent, but you work for it. Because you pay for the bill, you do everything. So going to abroad is not even the best. Let us roughen it together here. Let us be creative. Let us do something that will put money in our pockets, not this yahoo, whatever. So the government has a role to play. And part of the role is to encourage, I still go back to it, technical education, to encourage investors to come and, create jobs, or establish industries, create jobs, engage them. And of course, if you are creative, if you are talented, there will always be that avenue for you to scale through. We are talking of Davido today. He's using his brain. Apart from singing, he has his own way of relating with the public. He has his own way of making money through creativity. So if you are creative, of course there are individuals in this country who are blessed, and we always want to lift up a creative person. Being creative and having it back up with the help of journalists, publicize it, let the people know, then you go from there.
Okay. I like that because I want to appreciate the governor for Osun State for putting you, because you love creativity even more than any other profession. When you look at University of Agriculture in Abeokuta, you look at Lautech University, they are based on creativity, and you come to Osun here, Federal Polytechnic, and we know what it was created. Likewise, your own school, which is purely for technical. But nowadays we realize that even your school are now imbibing some other management courses. I learned that you are likely to have mass communication and some other things just to earn more money, because in those courses you have more numbers of students who can pay more to finance the school. Then are you not debating?
You see, you just mentioned something, or maybe I mentioned it in passing. There are ways through which we can look for money. University is self-advertised, unlike the Polytechnic. Because of the certificate you come out with from Polytechnic, either OND or HND, not many people recognize it or give you that respect that you are even learning all that you read. But if you go out and say, with PSC, with BA, they look at you and say, okay, he's having a university education. And the NBLT, that is the Nigerian Technical Board for Education, have now decided that since there is a discrimination between HND and graduates, there can be a one-year program which you call top up to earn a degree, that you will now be recognized. We know that universities, because of the attraction, yes, I'm a university student, because of the blackmail we are given to polytechnics, because of a kind of a label that we are put on them as a second-class citizens or graduates, people tend to go to the university. And as an institution, we have to see that how do we make money? Yes, this is a technical school. We can diversify a little bit and have the crowd that loves education, that loves humanity, and rather than go to the university, they still want to come to the Polytechnic. So it's an avenue for us to generate funds, rather than rely on tech. Because if you look at the number of people who appreciate technology, they are very few. Even people who have flair for it, they are not many. If you sit down on that, you are not likely to survive as a technological institution. So the best thing is to look for an avenue. What do we add to this to make it look attractive? It's like a musician. Yes, you can use your piano, you can use your voice alone. But what do I add to it that people will now appreciate and where, to take more money? You now add talking drum, you add guitar, you add this. Yeah, they are by the way, but I am a singer. That's my primary assignment. So it's a technological institution. But at the same time, we can still have our expand the institution by having a little bit of humanity courses.
All right, now talking about having a little bit of humanity courses. Most of these higher institutions now also do courses on entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Train people, to be self-reliant so that they won't be job seekers after graduation.
Yeah.
And most of these youth that are being trained, we always complain that the business environment in Nigeria is too hostile for anyone to actually grow. For instance, if you are producing something in Nigeria, it will be more expensive to produce than to import. That the environment is not too conducive for producers or manufacturers to actually make headway, especially for young entrepreneurs. There are a lot of bottlenecks, registration for this, NAFDAC, registration for that, and all that. So what exactly can government do to make the country conducive for the youth to actually unleash their potentials?
Yeah, I understand what you are trying to say. There are two, or let me say, I can identify 3 areas that could pose a problem to a young enterprising individual that want to establish something. The first is finance. The banks now charges so much that it is not attractive to go for a loan. We understand that. The government can come in that area. Come in the area of, partnering with a bank, just like the mortgage banks that we have. Mortgage banks deals more with, getting loans to build houses, to get accommodation or whatever. You can partner with a bank on the establishment of an industry or assisting young entrepreneurs. That's one aspect. The other aspect is the issue of tax. We can give tax relief fund to people who are just coming up, people who are just establishing their businesses. Not that because somebody opened a makeup shop today and tomorrow he sees a tax man at his doorstep asking for tax. The government have a lot to do in that area. Then you mentioned about the business registration. I don't think business registration is difficult nowadays. It's something you can do on the internet by yourself. And getting registered in the States, I can assure you, is an easy thing. Because that is why we have Ministry of Commerce and Industry. And the man in charge of that is also an international man, Reverend Bubegenyo. He knows what to do. He knows the importance of establishing industry. He's somebody that has traveled wherever. And that is why, he is put there. So, I'm not anticipating any problem in terms of establishing businesses or young entrepreneurs, rising up in Osun State.
Cost of production.
Yes, I agree with you. Cost of production. Cost of production, it depends. It depends. I have a young man in Ibadan who is now producing Sobo and what is this other product?
Tiger nut.
Tiger nuts. There was a time he complained that he's having problem with all these fruits and some other things. He usually come to Ikire to buy banana, orange and some other things. By the time he put the cost together, he said he's not breaking even or whatever. Simple advice, why not try other markets? You try other places, compare prices. It's not only Ikire that you get all these things. Try other places. By the time he did that, he came back to tell me that, yes, thank you for this advice. There are things he came to Ikire to come and buy that are every available in Oje. So by the time you remove the cost of traveling or transportation, then you have lesser cost. So he was able to get some in Oje. He was able to get somebody who is even bringing them to his factory from Oyo town. So that reduces. It depends on the way you go about it. If I want to buy clothes now, I know Mrs. Abuda's shop is too expensive. I can come to my friend and say, okay, this is okay. Instead of putting that money in Mrs. Abuda's something, I will reduce the cost for him. So it depends on bargaining power.
With the pool of knowledge you have brought, I believe that everybody watching this program will enjoy you. Yes, you are now in the mainstream of planning. That is when we talk about polytechnic. You know that now each polytechnic, some of the polytechnic have 3 programs. They are running full-time, then part-time and weekend program. And some people usually say that of the income from the full-time is going to the government, while out of part-time and weekend is between you and the school, between the board and the school management. Because when you look at the expenses, that is the school fees of the part-time and weekend in their school is almost more, possibly because they have opportunity of working. Then at the end of the day, you give them the same certificate. Is it not part of the event with which money that's supposed to go to the purse of the government is going elsewhere?
You see, there is no money that comes from student or from anybody that does not go to the government or to the school purse. It's very difficult. You don't pay to individuals. You pay through the banks. Just this yesterday, I decided to change some banks that the polytechnics does business with, simply because as a learned person, I understand that if I'm giving you money as a banker, this is an institution. What are you giving back as corporate social responsibility? So if some banks have not been doing that, I don't want to do any business with them again. I want a bank to give me a proposal. And the proposal is, yes, if you are giving me so money, I'm ready to give your school internet that students will enjoy free of charge. I'm ready to partner with you and build an auditorium for the school. If we are able to do business with us for a period of 1 year, whatever it is we are able to get from these transactions and everything, we will use it, to rebuild your school in a way. Even ordinary redesigning the environment costs a lot. You look for horticulturists. You want to plant. You want to redefine the stadium. You want to even repair a section or a department for me. It's part of the business I want to do. So there is no money, either weekend, daily, or whatever, that goes to that individual purse. We have an account. Our advert will soon come out now. We will tell you where to pay your money into. We have an auditor from the state that will come and audit your account. And no money is spent without my approval. Do I want to go to jail because I'm serving in polytechnic? So you can be rest assured that whatever money, whatever program we run is with the approval of the government, is the approval of the technical education policy, and whatever money goes anywhere, it goes through the bank, which could be verified by anybody and at any time back to the school. And we don't spend any money without the approval of the state government, without being in the budget.
Sorry, I want to have this one to you because I'm still.
Yes.
I
understand what you're saying.
Yes, I was once a student of a polytechnic before I go to university. Because I know the difference between polytechnic and university.
Yes.
Handout is technically a must. Then why must it be?
You see, this is an area I'm working on as a new chairman. Handout should not be compulsory for anybody. I have a lot of policy or a lot of issues that I've discussed with them. I've talked about decent dressing. I've talked about cultism. I've talked of lecturers, harassing students. So if, as the chairman, as the head, I've talked about all these things, give it to me that I will monitor them to the letter. So the era of compulsory handout, in fact, there was a lecturer that was even sent away. You should know about it. That was sent because this man sets an exam for the student, packaged the answer in form of a tutorial, and sold it to the students. One of them who couldn't even learn it well was who even brought the paper down to the exam hall. And when he got there, he was caught. And he confessed that he bought it from the lecturer. The lecturer came, started begging, even as the chairman now. He wrote a letter of appeal to me and said, well, you should even tell yourself that I wasn't there then. You should have gone to jail. So it's not a matter of begging me that we should reinstate you. You should even tell yourself that I wasn't there because I would have sent you to jail. What you have done is unconventional. It's barbaric. You are now begging me that you want to come back and send it publicly. So the issue of handout or lecturers selling this is a thing of the past.
All right, thank you very much. Now this brings me to my next question. The issue of examination malpractices. Primary school, secondary school, teachers and principals of schools aiding malpractices in Nigeria. Do you think there will be an end to this issue?
These are the result of the poverty. When you see a lecturer taking money from students for unholy dealings, when you see a teacher, telling parents that there are special centers through which you can pass your WAEC, you know there is a product of a bad environment or product of poverty. Because these are not normal, these are not hygiene. During our own time, to cheat in an exam is even very difficult because there are systems that the lecturers will do. Yeah, you sit there, you sit there, you sit there. First, you cannot sit together. You don't even know yourself, and you are timed. By the time you start doing your own, you cannot finish it before you start teaching others. And to even call it giraffe. To even giraffe is very difficult because of the seating arrangement. So, you see, the Commissioner for Education, Honorable Dipo Eluwole, is part of what he's working on. Because we know the position we met education in Osun State, irrespective of the appointment and all other things identified. Gigantic building does not make good education. It is the products, what you're able to, how you're able to manage the teachers, the training you give them, the promotion you give them, that encourage them to teach the student what is right. It is salary you pay them that we encourage them to do the normal thing. And the normal thing is to come to school, put a lot in the heads of the students in a very methodological manner that they will understand. And the total product of it is for the student to sit down for an exam confidently, write it, and we have a very good result in Osun State. We are working on that.
Because we cannot go without talking about security.
Yes.
It is a sorry case that Nigeria lost some soldiers recently. Likewise, the terrorists, they claim that they were the one behind the mishap of the jets. Then where are we going about security?
In Nigeria.
In Nigeria, I'm not sure. I want to comment it.
You see, in Nigeria, it's very sad that we have been fighting Boko Haram for years. We have not gotten to the end, and we are now preparing to go and fight Nigerian Republic. It's absurd. And another thing is, the man put in charge of defense now, the Minister for Defense, Batawale, is somebody that has even lost part of his state to terrorism. And you are now not putting him in charge of defense. That means we don't have any hope. I don't believe in the security arrangement Nigeria is putting in place. And it's quite unfortunate that now that they are even preparing to go to war with Niger, it will worsen matter. And I wonder the kind of advice the new president listens to. It's quite unfortunate. I don't see any hope in that. In Osun State, we know the importance of security. We don't want any blackmail that if something happen in Ojaoba, people will now escalate it as if Osun State is not safe. That is political blackmail. As far as we are concerned, since the inception of this administration, it has been relatively peaceful. It has been relatively peaceful simply because we know ourselves. We have the security apparatus, on ground, and the governor is meeting with them from time to time to encourage them to do their job as it should be done. So far so good, except if you have any contrary opinion. If you ask me, I'll be able to answer it. But so far so good, based on the scale, we are 90% safe in Osun State.
Thank you very much, President Odeyemi. Yes, our time is really fast spent, but I wanted to speak on the Niger Republic issue. How do you think the federal government should have handled the case?
Yes, I've said this severally. To me, I believe that the APC, and I've said it as the Deputy National Public Secretary of the party, so I can still repeat it anywhere. They have seen the issue of this security as avenue to make money. And that is why we have not seen the end of the war. To make money in the sense that there was a time, former Minister for Information, Lai Mohammed, said the APC demanded for the sum of 365 billion naira and assured Nigerians that within a month or two, Boko Haram will become a thing of the past. We sat down as a media men at the PDP national headquarters. We started counting this. After the expiration of that 2 months, we still gave them another month. We now started chronicling the number of terrorism that took place even after collecting that 365 billion naira. And it was then we now came out and said, yes, what have you done with this money? You promised that Boko Haram will become a thing of the past within 2 months. This is the third month and we are still recording deaths in all parts of the north. And what we got as an answer from the minister was that, yes, they have been technically defeated. Yeah, you heard him. Nigerians heard him. What is technicality in defeating terrorism that continues on a daily basis? It's semantic. It's use of word to cajole Nigerians. And of course, we want to believe that Nigerians did not believe in what we said, and that's why they are able to vote. That's why they voted them back into office. We are all in it. What they should have done is, if I'm not capable of defeating my enemy, what I need to do is to enlist the support of somebody that is stronger. I cannot beat your cameraman, is stronger than me. I will now ask somebody who can handle him, take his leg, let me take the hand, so that we can, wrestle him down. We can call for international support. International support comes in various ways. They can give you ammunition, they can give you technical knowledge, they can even survey for you and tell you, yeah, this is where they are. Here we are in Nigeria, we don't even know the end of where this Boko Haram lives. Tomorrow you will hear that their leaders have been killed. Tomorrow it will be another counter attack. So that's why I said we are not capable. We have lost the battle. Even within ourselves, just ordinary Boko Haram, we could not defeat them for years. So why not seek for external? And external support will come easily, simply because they know the effect of war in Nigeria. They know the spillover effect will affect their own economy. There are instances that, as a nation or as a foreign country, they don't have any right to reject anybody on humanitarian ground. And that is why you see people running abroad, and when they get to the gate, they said, yes, they want to keep me in Nigeria. That's why I'm here. And they just have to put them in asylum. It's an international convention. So they know the effect of people running to other countries because of war. So they would rather help you to stabilize in your country rather than having the spillover effect affecting their own economy. But where are the government are so proud? The ego is still there. Yes, we can win Boko Haram. We will defeat them tomorrow. We have captured their leader. Whereas we are not getting anything. So if you look at it invariably, they are happy using that avenue to make money. Because there is no way you can account for guns, shots. They keep buying ammunition on a daily basis. Where are they? Recently, Boko Haram claimed that they shot down one of the helicopters. The helicopters are not bought with 10 naira or 20 naira. It costs a lot of money. There will be another budget or another money budgeted for the lost helicopter just for them to maintain ammunition. And you know how much they put on top of that. That's Nigeria for you.
Oh, thank you so much, President Odeyemi. Thank you so much for...
Thank you very much for having me. I'm happy to be here with you.
Thank you. So
anytime you call me, I'm always available.
Thank you so much. Yes, this is where we'll be saying our bye on today's edition of Let's Discuss. My name is Oluchi Amuda. I'm from...
Abdul Jalil Adebisi.
We are saying bye-bye.